To blame the quad, but ooh, that prop broke off. That's interesting.
No balls. Hold on. Oh, I just didn't turn the camera on. Usually helps when you you know, allow the camera to have electricity. 100% electronic. Come on, camera. There it is. My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. You can call me whatever you'd like. That was the 250 on GemFan 40. What pitch is that GemFan prop? What pitch is the GemFan 4-inch prop? First person to get it right in the chat wins nothing. GemFan 4-inch. I keep wanting to say 4023, but it's not. Here it is. It's this one. 4023, look at me go. That was the 250 on 4023's in its current setup, which is the footage was coming out of the Runcam Hybrid V1. The HD footage supposedly doesn't look any different on the V2. Special camera cage that Tommy made for me that you guys should be able to get your hands on. X-Nova 1804 35. Oh my God, 3500 kV motors, 20 by 20 stack, and all the other things that you need to build a rig. With the 20 by 20 stack in here, you have to run the arms below the base plate. And when you run the arms below the base plate, you don't have access to these 4 arm screws. So though the heads of the screws are on the other side, and that is under the 20 by 20 stack. So if you build the 250 with a 20 by 20 stack and the arms below the base plate, the arms are not really all that removable. Like, in order to remove the front arms, you got to pull the 20 by 20 stack out. And that is not a road that I'm going to stay on. That's the road that I'm on now, but I'm going to get off of that road and do something that I didn't think I was going to do ever again. Not ever again, but I'm going to put this onto an AIO. I have a JHE MCU F405 BL Heli S 3 to 6S 35 amp AIO that has been sitting around here for a while, and I'm gonna use it. Look at this stupid thing. Look at this. So yeah, we're gonna put this on, and then when it blows up, I'm gonna go see. I told you. Hopefully it won't blow up. We're also gonna be putting on this set of 2004 3500 kV Aerolites that Tommy sent me before they came out. Actually, they've just been sitting patiently waiting to replace the X-Nova 1804s. I'm doing that. I really like the 1804s on here. This current setup right here that I'm holding is actually on 3.5-inch props. These are the Gemfan 3520s. This is my favorite setup. The 4023 props are a little bit too big, a little too floaty for the all-up weight with this, which is like 280 grams or so. These 1804s are, I think, the perfect motor for these 3.5-inch props. But I want to put these 1804s onto a ripsqueak with T-Motor 3140 propellers. As like a super ultra basher ripsqueak. So I'm gonna pull these motors off of this rig and replace them with the Aerolites that have just been sitting around patiently waiting. So on a 3.5-inch prop, it's gonna be a little underpropped with these 2004 Aerolites on a 3.5-inch prop, but that's okay. I would rather have a little bit too much motor than not quite enough, as we all know. Or it'll be perfect, or maybe these 3520 props will feel even better. I don't know. We're gonna find out together. This is this disgusting cup is actually quite delicious. This is so America's Test Kitchen tested a bunch of vanilla ice creams, and they found the Ben & Jerry's to be the best. So this is Ben & Jerry's vanilla ice cream with cream soda, actually. I love root beer floats. There was cream soda in the refrigerator, and yeah, it works. It totally works. It might be better than a regular root beer float. I don't know. I have a can of regular Barks root beer in there. I'll try that after this. Not tonight, but next time I have one of these. And I'll report back on what's better, root beer floats with root beer or cream soda. But this is really good with cream soda. Fat kid. I'm a fat kid at heart. Thank God I have a good metabolism. J Drone says first. Riot 9 says, so my comment is gone. Good. Remy Tim is in the house. Espander, Frank Nicholas, S. Grace, Paul McDonald, Riot 9, 8th FPV, Sydney Spare, Robert Gobb, I'm just going to call you Robert. Northern Tier FPV, Rob Logan, Grizz FPV, Riot 9 again, Adam Bellingham, Demenis, Finn FPV is in the house. Finn, I still owe you footage. I gotta get my shit together. Haven't forgotten though. Scott Gillen is here. Adam Bellingham, Steady Eddie FPV, Ricardo Ferreira, just Ricardo. Someday I'll be able to pronounce Ricardo's last name. Ferreira. Now I can pronounce it. Whack FPV, Alley-oop, Rob Logan, Michael Blade, Remy Tim again, Family Guyver, FPV Trucker. What's up, friends? If you want to talk directly to me, all you've got to do is either a super chat or just type CiottiFPV. If you type CiottiFPV, it'll light up an orange. If you do a super chat, I'll be able to eat this week. Jay Jones tagged me and said first. Riot 9 tagged me and said, let's just say it was, rules are for the obedience of fools and the guidance of wise men. Grizz FPV says, now this is the stream I've been waiting for. Demenis says, we are Borg. Steady Eddie says, thank you so much for your time and support today. My absolute pleasure, brother. Steady Eddie and I did we talked about all kinds of random stuff. A Fiverr session, basically, an hour Fiverr session, where we didn't like stick within build planning or within tuning or within flight instruction. He just had a whole bunch of questions and we just kind of talked. It was really good. I had a blast. Ricardo says, how's the wallet issue still missing? Nope, I found it. To the following day. I lost it, and then the following day I found it. It was in a cabinet. I must have been, I don't know. It was just sitting in a cabinet. When I was unloading the groceries, I put it in the grocery bag, so then when I was getting something out that went in that cabinet, I must have grabbed it and my wallet and put it right on the cabinet bottom thing, shelf, and it disappeared. I must not have put anything else in that cabinet. Whack FPV says what's up. Alley-oop says what's up. Michael Blade says what's up. FPV Trucker says what's up. Chris Croft says hi. Mr. Huggy says evening. Quad Killer with a what's up. Chomper FPV with a what's up. YouTube just did the thing. Mr. Huggy says, I have one of those AIOs so far. 7 batteries in, no problems. That's good to hear. Adam Bellingham says, CiottiFPV needs liquor. Oh, this would be good with alcohol in it. This would be good with like vanilla vodka or rum chata or horse piss. I don't know. Family Guyver says orange soda with vanilla ice cream rocks as well. Ooh, that's good. That's real good. Riot 9 with an $8.40 Australian cent. What's it called? Super chat. He says, eat up, homie. To the weed number. Does that put us at the weed number? 840? 57? 2 times... Oh, 2... Wait, what? 2 star the weed number. Where's the weed number? Yeah, so this is a Q&A stream. Drop any and all questions you've got in the chat. Either do a super chat like Riot 9 did if you want your gangly friend to continue to, I don't know, shit his pants. Or just tag me. 420 times 2. Got it. Right. 420 times 2. Got it. Jesus. Math. Let's tear this perfectly functioning 250 apart and make it fly worse. Not because of the motors, but because of the flight controller. Do you guys like the camera here down lower, or do you like it was previous? Oh God, why? Or do you like the way it was previously up higher? You decide, and then I move it around. This is painful. I really don't like to pull rigs apart when they're working, because it's pretty rare that... That's not true. I was about to say it's pretty rare that my rigs are in a state where they're working, but that's not really true at all. But yeah, I do tend to try to tear them apart when I break them, which is inevitable. But in this case, I want these motors on a different build, and yeah, I don't know. It was... I needed an alliteration for the stream today, so I went with 4-inch Friday. I was gonna do 5-inch Friday, but I've worked on a whole bunch of 5-inch stuff lately, and then I couldn't think up of an F word for a Cinewhoop. I was gonna pull the one Cinewhoop apart, but I think I'm gonna wait until Monday or Wednesday to do that. So yeah. P. Richard Scott is in the house. He says, sad day the 250 goes away. Yeah, you know, this is... I can't believe I'm doing this, because this is the... Like, to be totally honest, this is the best flying rig that micro that I've got at the moment. But it shouldn't fly, like, realistically, it shouldn't fly that much worse with an AIO in it. I'm actually really curious to see if I'll notice a difference. I will copy and paste my tune from this setup over to the AIO to see if the motors get hot. This tune is pretty well dialed in. I mean, it's kind of my standard tune, which is nothing really all that exciting, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the AIO can handle the exact same tune without motor heat. And yeah, I don't know. It'll just be a cool little experiment. So let's rip it to shreds. Film Rig Friday, Rotten Tomatoes says. That's pretty cool. If I'd thought of that, I would have totally named it. I would have totally named the stream that. Alright, well, to get... Oh, man. Am I going to have to pull these side plates off? Hopefully these side plates don't fight me like they did last time. I might as well pull the propellers off because these motors are coming off anyway. So, let's just do that. It'll make it easier to work on. Float in a smoke. Oh, Chris Croft, that's a great question. He says, difference in weight with new motors and AIO. And then Athix says, how about that hardware on the 250? What do you mean? What hardware? Yeah, we can take some weight measurements. You guys got to remind me, though, because I'll probably forget. But yeah, we can take some weight measurements of these motors versus... the Aerolites and this 20x20 stack versus the AIO. Last time I did that, last time I measured the weight between a 20x20 stack and an AIO, the difference was 2-point-something grams. And realistically, that is not enough of a weight difference for me to give a rat's ass. Like, I will absolutely take a 2 and a bit gram weight increase in order to have a 20x20 stack in a rig, so long as having the 20x20 stack doesn't prevent that rig from having its arms removed. You know what I mean? T-Bird's in the house. What's up, homie? Ricardo says, has your girlfriend seen FPV through goggles? Not through goggles, because I don't have a second set of goggles, but she has seen it through monitors. She came with me to the Asheville gig, so she got to see me fly that, and I flew the Tinywhoop around her house last weekend, maybe the weekend before, so she's gotten to see it, but it is a little different with the goggles on. It is a lot more immersive. So at some point when, like maybe when Patrick, if she's over here and Patrick comes over as well, she'll get to see it through goggles or something like that. Yeah, although, you know, I really should get... Any of you guys selling Fat Sharks by chance? Is anybody maybe selling like a set of HDO2s or a set of HD3s? Those are really the only two. I think I'm most interested in a set of HD3s, just so I have two identical sets of goggles. I'm just trying to have two of everything. Realistically, if I'm going to keep doing this cinematic flying stuff, I need to have at least two of everything, so that, you know, 10 minutes before I leave for the shoot, if my goggles catch on fire, I don't have to cancel. So yeah, if you guys see any HD3s for sale, do me a favor and let your boy know. I would really love to just pick up another set of HD3s. I've used Patrick's HDO2s, and they're nice, but I don't know, like, they're kind of over-sharpened almost, and like they're kind of... I don't know, man. I back-to-backed them with my HD3s, and it could totally be that I'm just used to the HD3s. That could absolutely be it, and that is probably that's probably what's going on. But I don't know. I feel like I almost like the HD3s better. What was really interesting is Patrick was kind of like, HD3s look really good. So yeah, and HD3s are going to cost a lot less than HDO2s. So yeah, if anybody sees a set of HD3s for sale cheap, let me know, and I'll probably snag them. Athix says the aluminum hardware. Oh, so I didn't use the I didn't end up using the aluminum hardware. Athix. Mike Smith with a $5 super chat. He says, looking to build my first quad using SharkBite. Would a fast 3 or 4 inch, no idea on best parts, any suggestions would be great. Mike, down below in the description of all my videos is a section called the gear that I use and trust. Can you guys believe how long it's taken me to get this propeller off? It's still not coming the fuck off. I'm not super sure what's happening here. Jesus fucking hell, what the shit is going on? Why was I just involved in a straight up fist fight with a propeller? Jesus fucking hell. Okay. Yeah, Mike, so I've got a section down below called the gear that I use and trust. Some of that shit down there, though, has been discontinued. And I don't have great suggestions. So, like, I'm still using all that stuff. Like, I bought a bunch of it, and I still have it. So some of the stuff in there, and so I haven't, like, tested. So, like, it's hard to... So my favorite ESC for micros is the Speedix GS25, but that got discontinued, like, forever ago. I bought a whole bunch of them, and I still fly them. So I haven't had the opportunity to, like, test another ESC to see if I really like it. So in some cases, I kind of don't have a suggestion. Joshua's website, FPV Know-It-All, does have a sub 250 section that I helped him with. So you can get some ideas there. I do have I have many live streams where I built the 3-inch ripsqueaks and where I built this rig, where I've talked about some different gear. So yeah, there's a couple of options for you. Ripsqueak is really my favorite 3/4 inch frame at the moment. That's the Ripsqueak Micro, either the V1 or the V2. They're both really good. My favorite motor options at this point are the Toka 1505s and or the iFlight Zing 1504s. In the highest KV available, and then you're going to run them on 4S 650 mAh batteries or 4S 700 mAh GNB batteries or 4S 850 Tattoo R-Line version 4 batteries. Hey guys, Tattoo just came out with a version 4, that's their newest chemistry, 4S 850. Which is a little bit lighter weight and a higher C rating than their existing 4S 850, which is a version 1. The Tattoo uses the version to designate which run of which chemistry. So like the version 1 is their first chemistry, the version 2 is the next chemistry, now they're all the way up to version 4. Man, these side plates. So these are like prototype side plates that Tommy and Kelvin made for me, and they are really tight. And I don't want to like file them to make them looser because when they're tight like this, they're really strong. But my God, man, it makes taking this rig apart pretty challenging. But it is doable, and again, I would rather fight with this and have the rig be a little bit more durable because of the tightness. Everybody likes good tight fitting carbon, am I right? Ask your wives and or girlfriends. Although at the moment, the problem is you can't get a good grip. That's why you saw me banging away on this with a hammer. It's hard to get a good grip on this outer plate. And even when you do get a good grip on it, it's a little bit of a nightmare. I am using the aluminum hardware Athix in the front, on the front camera cage, but yeah, see, and I try not to use needle nose pliers because they mangle the shit out of the carbon. Just getting frustrated now though. Yeah, I did use aluminum hardware on the front camera cage because it's cool looking. But not on the not on anything connected to the arms. Man, I did a number on the carbon. Jesus, I wish I hadn't done that. Wish I hadn't done that, but I did, and that's not the end of the world. Okay, so this is yeah, I cannot. I'm really having a hard time. So let me put something like this. And then I'll smack it with a hammer. There we go. It's just like when it gets all the way locked in the back, when there's the outer vertical plate moves all the way back, it really kind of like locks itself in. You just got to get it pushed up a little bit, and then it's a lot less vicious. Jesus, come on now. This seems to work pretty well. Hey! There we go. Alright, so yeah, that seems to be a good way of getting it out. You just put the screwdriver at an angle like this, and you put it into the corner of that front carbon, and then you smack it with a hammer. And then you can put it on the top here as well. And smack it some more. There we go. Jesus, that was brutal. Where are we at in the chat here? Mr. Huggy says, weigh it now before, then after. I'm only changing the stack and the motor, so I'll just weigh them individually. Chopper FPV says, I have both HD3s and HDO2s for sale, actually with rapid fire antennas, batteries, the whole deal. Nice, Chopper. I'm gonna have to bug you. Family Guyver says, interested maybe in Fat Shark Scouts. Unfortunately not, Family Guyver. Box goggles hurt my eyeballs. Athix FPV says, this is the time to plug FPV Exchange for your search for a set of HD3s. Yeah, very, very true. DJI goggles have analog adapter for girly, Patrick says. That is so true. That is so true. Good call on that. Cool Coyote says you should try out the iFlight 35 amp 6S ESC. I actually have one of those, Cool Coyote. It's going to go into one of the builds. I organized a bunch of my builds. So I will be trying that ESC. Blitz FPV says, hi, finally bought my electronics from a 5-inch racer. User Banggood affiliate as well. Thanks for the great stream. Nice, Blitz. Thanks for remembering. That's super awesome. Jason Crabtree says, AIO. Guys, is CiottiFPV okay? Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing this, but... Blitz says, chat, what did CiottiFPV crash and burn this time? I actually didn't. I'm just switching some stuff up. And then Cool Coyote says, in about a week, I should have a pre-order started on FPV Exchange for my 3-inch frame. Nice. Very, very cool. Riot9 doesn't seem to like iFlight. He says they're junk. Alright, so I got those plates off. Now, I think I can leave the front camera cage intact. I just needed to get those outer plates off because they lock the upper and lower, they lock the top plate and the base plate down. So you basically can't get the top plate off without removing those outer front camera plates. So let's see. Yeah, okay, there we go. It jumped right off. So here we go. Oh, that's right. And it even stays together, and I can just nicely rotate it out of the way. Wow, okay. So those guys came loose. That's good to know. I have to tighten those up. So I can leave everything in the rear here alone, which is really nice. And then I just got to pull everything in the front here apart. Question is, do I... So I guess I leave these race wires hooked up. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna leave these I'm gonna take the whole squid off here, and then I can just drop it into a rip squeak. I'll probably have to shorten up these wires, but that's okay. Well, let me think about that for a second. If I pull the entire squid, which is motors, flight controller, ESC, these motor wires will probably be too long, almost guaranteed to be too long for the rip squeak. So then I have to just cut them down and resolder them. Versus if I leave the race wires, then in theory I can just zap them up to the to this AIO. But the question becomes, are the cables long enough? Which it looks like they would be, because I'd probably be putting this, no, I'd be putting it like this. So this AIO is more than likely going to sit in here like that. because then the power leads are at the rear and they can come out like this. And then, yeah, so these wires should be long enough. Let me figure out where the AIO mounts to. It must be that, right? Yeah, okay. So I was holding it the right way. So... So... I think... What color are these race wires? That's an important thing to know. What color are they? This is a 6S capable ESC. This is actually an iFlight ESC. Oh, they're like a bluish purple. That's blue, I think. Okay. I think that I'm gonna poop my pants. Apple Juice FPV says, I finally remembered to join the stream on my FPV account instead of my personal. I feel like I'm undercover. What's your personal account? Apple Juice. Cool Coyote says, we got that. Jason Crabtree says, who's the guy with the Runcam Hybrid Mounts with the fixed angle? Ummagawd. Tommy and Kelvin. It should be on their website. If it's not on their website, just message them. Tell them you need the you need to get your hands on the CiottiFPV custom Runcam Hybrid 250 camera plates, and they will hook you up. I need to fix this antenna mount in the back at some point here too. Let me actually let me kick this. Let me remove this the whole camera setup just so it's not flopping around. I don't want to put any more stress than I need to on the on this MIPI cable. Okay, so I mean I might as well just start disassembling shit, and as I'm doing that I can think about what I'm gonna do. Oh, this is also on an RXSR, which is all nicely packed away in there. I would love to move this over to Crossfire. Is there a good spot to mount an Immortal T, though? Nah, you know what? I'm going to leave this on the RXSR, I think. I already have it all nicely packaged in there. I really should move it over to a Crossfire, though. Where am I going to put the Immortal T? Down there, maybe? Run it up through there. And then just zip it like that. Just zip it down right here, maybe. What the fuck is this fluid all over this? Is this all wet? What the fuck is that? Flux or something? That's strange. Oh, it's flux. It's flux. Okay, cool. Gotcha, Apple Juice. Cool Coyote says, have you used the TBS 69s at all? I have not, Cool Coyote, and I won't be. I have not heard a single good thing about the TBS 69. All I have heard is people saying how awful they are. Video noise, not binding, all kinds of shit. So yeah, I will not be... I mean, I don't really have a use for a 20x20 receiver and VTX, not to mention that I wouldn't do that. Like, the whole... I really prefer to have things broken out. I prefer the VTX to be a separate piece so that when it dies, not if, but when, because all VTXs do eventually die, I can just replace it. Receivers actually typically don't die. So a receiver typically you won't need to replace. But yeah, VTXs, they all seem to have a lifespan. And they all do eventually explode. Tony Cake of Immersion RC explained it to me a long time ago at one of the quad camps I was invited to, as there's buried within the VTX, there's like an actual little tiny crystal, which controls, which is, it's like a tuned, it's somehow like a tuned crystal or some shit like that. Basically, like it's how the VTX is tuned to hit the right channels, and it doesn't like to be smashed over and over and over again. So yeah, VTXs will supposedly always have a finite lifespan because of that, but also because they get hot, and you know, we plug them in without antennas hooked up to them and shit like that, and we crash in trees and get stuck in the tree for 10 minutes. There's all kinds of reasons that VTXs suffer a little bit more abuse than some of the other internals that we've got going on in these rigs. So yeah, I 100% approach VTXs as a wear item, which might sound weird, but yeah, I mean, it'll, if you stay into this long enough, you'll consider them that too, because you'll have them fail on you. And once something fails on you a bunch of times, you just kind of go like, oh, okay, so that's something that doesn't last forever, and that's okay. It's important to come to that realization, because otherwise you're just going to get pissed off as things that you don't think should be ever breaking break. Which I guess in the internals of a quad, the only thing that realistically could kind of like not break is the receiver. Like, the receiver doesn't get hot. I don't think it has anything that's like tuned in it or whatever. So yeah, and I don't think I've ever had a receiver really let go. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a receiver go, be it a Crossfire Nano or a FR Sky XM Plus, RXSR, whatever. That sucked. So I could have a solder ball situation here. I'm gonna have to check this flight controller with a loop. When I was pulling that wire off, I lost grip on the wire, and it and when the wires do that, you got to be really careful, because there's a chance that they will fling a little solder ball when they swing forward like that. So I feel like this flight controller is the one that's got a weird 5-volt no worky situation. So hopefully I'll remember that. I think I had to link up to the 5-volt on this side of the pad or something like that. But this is a Talon F7 MPU 6000. So this is a the Talons are great when they work. The Talon flight controllers don't seem to be the most durable of the flight controllers. But what's nice is they have black box, and the pad layout is really nice. The pads are a good size. And all that being said, I haven't really found a flight controller that's more durable. So maybe all of the 5-volt backs are fragile like this. But yeah, I have there was a time that I was all about the Talon F7 flight controllers. Like I said, I haven't found something that's more durable yet, but I'm hoping that I can, because I have blown up a bunch of the Talon F7s and the F4s at this point. Usually it's the 5-volt BECs that let go. And there's a chance that everybody uses the same 5-volt BECs, so there's a chance that they're as good as it gets. And I know that I'm really hard on gear. I feel like the whole FPV community knows that by this point. So yeah, maybe I'm just asking too much from a flight controller. But I am using different flight controllers now to see if any of them hold up better. So I'll have more info in the future. Tiago Ramos is in the house. He says the crystal gives a reference frequency to use. That sounds like what Tony was telling me. Very cool, Tiago. Blitz FPV says, almost sold my new Session 5 so I can afford a race rig. Glad I didn't. Now I can actually use it. I would have regretted it. Have you used the HDLRC Zeus VTX? People are having great performance with them for their size. I have used the Zeus VTX. I wasn't really blown away by it. There was a little bit of video noise. That video noise could have been the HDLRC ESC that was on that rig. That ESC was not great. So yeah, I mean, the Zeus VTX was fine. I am a big fan of the Eachine Nano V2 VTX. That's the best that I've found. And for like $13, it's kind of like I can't run anything else because everything else is more than $13. And the Eachine Nano for $13 works stupidly well. So I'm sort of on that train at the moment. So now I gotta decide. Am I leaving these race wires and race LEDs, or am I removing them? If I remove them, I'll probably just run these Aerolite motors directly to the AIO's ESC, to the AIO pads, or the motor pads rather, on the AIO. There we go, there's some English. I kind of want to leave them though, because everything is cut to the right length. So I'm just sort of... I think I'm going to leave them, actually. I think I'm just going to desolder the motor from the race wire and the ESC from the race wires. And then I'll cut the Aerolite motor leads nice and short, solder them up, and then I'll solder these wires, the other side of these wires, that is, right, to the AIO, and all will be right with the world. Let me just put this guy back down, and we'll get that process started. Anybody know, I think I remember seeing that DJ is in Las Vegas right now. Anybody know if he's streaming tonight? That is what I'm going to do. I'm going to... Ooh. Well, this would be a good opportunity to switch these front race wires out. So it's got blue in the back. Let me see what other colors I have. Blitz FPV says that Eachine Nano is amazing. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's so cheap, and it just fucking works. Smooth and Groovin says, how do I bind to Newbie Drone BLV1 in D8? I use an external receiver. Wait, I think the Newbie Drone V1... No, I know that the Newbie Drone V1 does not have a built-in receiver, so you can't bind to it. You have to run an external. And then, yeah, the external receivers, they all have their own binding procedure. So yeah, that's going to depend on which one you've got. What do I have here? What colors do I have? Some red. These are white. I think this is... Oh, hey, look, that's blue. Really? Oh, okay. I didn't know they made these in blue. I've got another... Ooh, I've got another blue one here. Do I have one more blue regular race wire? That would be awesome. I could put blue on all four corners of this rig. That's pink. Damn it. I think I only have this one extra blue. I think I blew up one of the blue... the other blue arm LED that's missing. Let's just do this. Let's just do this. There's green. These are just race wires. Gotta keep hitting my head on this fucking light. These are these little stupid small guys. I wonder what color this Pyrodrone one is. I'll leave that out. I'll leave this one out too. Nah, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Don't leave stuff out. Put things away. It's fine. Little tiny guys, little tiny guys, little tiny guys. Go away, go away, go away, go away. Go away. Go away. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So here's the blue one. I'm pretty sure I just have that one extra blue. Should I be a total lunatic and just put one pink race wire on this rig? It'll have 3 blue race wires and 1 pink race wire. Is that what I should do? I think maybe it is. I think I should maybe push the boundaries of my own sanity. But I'm probably not. I don't think I'd be able to sleep at night if I did that. I just don't think that's... so the other option is that I use some of these flywheel ones. So we've got white, red. I should probably just do the blue. 9x15. Probably just do 2 of these blue ones on the front. Right? Northern Tier FPV with a $20 super chat. Dude, thank you so much. He says, hey man, thanks for the great stream. Ain't much, but should be good for pizza. Ha, cheers, dude. Northern Tier, that is a very generous super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Much appreciated. Robox says, hello ladies, can't stay just checking in. Chris Croft says, friend had completely screwed up Unify that was outputting on weird channels. I also think he had issues with the replacement one. That's weird. Blitz FPV says, is race wire a must-have or is it negligible? It's not a must-have. I just like it. It makes swapping out motors a lot easier, and it helps with prop strikes. Like you can have a prop strike, you can have 100 prop strikes on a race wire or a race LED, and they'll survive. Whereas like if you have 2 prop strikes on the regular motor wires, you're gonna cut through them and it's gonna get really hairy. Right9 says live in 4 hours from now. Oh, I could have streamed later because he's on Las Vegas time. Well, that's funny. Rob Axton says, what are the odds of Magic Smoke Show tonight? I get pretty much 0 because there's no shot that I'll get this finished. We're already 50-ish minutes in, and I haven't even started putting it back together yet. So yeah, there won't be any smoke tonight, but next time I work on this, there very well could be. Athix says, Race Day Quads had a buy one, get one deal on Mach 3 VTX. Yeah, that makes sense, because that VTX is awful. Man, I had a hell of a time on those Race Day Quads Mach VTXs. I will never buy... They're manufactured by AKK, and I will never buy another AKK product ever again until the day that I shit my pants. So, like, next week sometime, I guess. Okay. So. It's got blue in the back. And I've got one extra blue, one extra pink, two extra reds. I guess I put the reds on. Because I only have 4 of these blues. If I mismatch it, yeah, I'm going to put these red ones on. This is going to be... This rig is going to have red and blue. It's going to be all American flag-like. Yeah, putting the red ones on. Alright. Or I can switch all 4 of them. I could switch all 4 of them. Oh, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch all 4 of them with greens. Because green is Tommy's color. Yeah. Okay. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this rig over to green ARM LEDs. And that way, I'll create even more work for myself. Always a good choice. So now I'm going to have to desolder everything. But, hey, could be worse. So let me tin the rest of the pads on these. This will be fun. Ready? Alright, we got flux on all of them. I'll do this as fast as I can. Here we go. I'm even going to zoom this shit in so you guys can see and be very impressed by my speed. Not really. Alright, ready? It's a race. How quickly can we tin all these pads? That's the question. In 3, 2, 1, go! That's pretty fast. I went to a Japanese katsu place the other day for food, and they put this sauce on the katsu pork that, I shit you not, there was something about the taste of the sauce that smelled like solder. It was very strange. And, like, it kind of made me sick to my stomach because of that. Because, like, solder fumes are not really a great smell. It was really weird. It was a really strange experience. Like, the katsu pork was great, but then this sauce that they gave me, it was very weird, man. It was a very strange experience. I don't know if maybe they like spilled flux in the sauce or some shit. I mean, I very much doubt that, but it was really weird, man. It was really, really strange. So I won't be getting... Everything else was great, but yeah, there was just this strangeness. It's kind of weird. Arrgh! This thing is stuck to the goddamn wood. So yeah, there you go. There's how you tin a whole bunch of pads quickly. It's all about flux. Having flux on the joints makes everything so much easier and quicker and slicker and dicker and thicker and wicker and you know. Chris Croft says, why not just green in the front? Because I have these in sets of 4, and if I only use 2 of them, then I'm always going to have these awkward 2 other green ones. So I'd rather replace them all at once, because, yeah, I'm a crazy man. Sometimes you just got to give in to your mental illness and say, well, you know what? We're stuck together forever. Just, we'll be okay. We'll be okay here. Me and you, pal. We can be friends just this one time. I ain't gonna fight you every time. Alright, motor 2 is free. Going in on motor 3 here. I might also put this rig onto Crossfire. I'm going to have to cut the rear zip ties that I have the RXSR antennas running through. And at that point, you know, it's, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll leave it. I don't know. Maybe I don't have to cut him. Maybe I can just sneak him out of there. I doubt it, but I'll give it a shot. We'll see what's what in a little bit here. Come on, you bastard. Get off of there. What's up, Freelo Joe? Blitz FTV says, put flux in your drink before a rip to see into the future. Ribby Tim loves the smell of soldering. Do you really? Ugh. I'm over it. New world record, Blitz says. I grew up with the smells of soldering, so there's a little bit of from my father. So there's a little bit of kind of like nostalgia to it, but my father always made sure that I knew that, like, you know, there's lead in that shit, like just a little bit, but there is some. So like it's not, you know, he planted the seed of like, it's not a good, it's not a good smell. Like, you know, you want to try to not smell it because it's not good for you. But at the same time, like, you know, not the end of it's not like caustic and or, yeah, a little bit of it ain't gonna hurt you. The amount of soldering that we do is fine. It's people that are gonna like solder for 8 hours a day that have to think about that shit. Hold on, let me run this. Let me zoom this out, and let me run this cup over to the sink. Here's some more of this rig ripping around. Right back. No, I'm gonna leave the camera here, or the audio here. Because the audio out of the Runcam Hybrid is brutal. Get Epidemic Sounds going real quick. Why is this playing so shitty? My guess is that this is now on the 3.5s. Right back. See how high up the horizon got? That's one of the only things I don't love about the Runcam Hybrid is it doesn't have quite enough field of view, in my opinion. I wish it had a little bit more field of view. Don't screen cap this. Ready? Below the camera here is the Gep RC Cinelog 35, which Patrick was cool enough to let me borrow his DJI gear, and I put a battery through this last night. It's interesting. He flew a couple batteries as well, so we were able to kind of compare notes, which was interesting. Neither one of us are really like totally sure what it's for. It's really stout. It's like really strong. So yeah, I don't know. This one came to me with DJI. I'm actually gonna pull the DJI out of it. Yeah, I left the music on. Turn it down a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna pull the DJI out, and I might actually put shark bite on this. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's got a shitload of power. It's got a ton of power. The frame is nice and strong. The guards seem to be really stout. So yeah, I don't know. This could be like I don't know if this is ever gonna replace a Cinesplorer, like a full-on, fully ducted Cinewhoop, because like this is still safer. If I bump into somebody that's wearing like clothing, this propeller is way more protected in this nice tall duct, whereas like this can still, like, you could still definitely cut somebody with this little setup, like, yeah, or like if it goes into clothing, like there's more of a chance that it'll get up on there. So yeah, I don't necessarily think that I would want to fly this around people. You could, but I don't think you'd want to. But what this absolutely will do is cover more ground than this. With the full size, full height ducts, you gotta really put the nose down to get this thing moving. Whereas this guy, you don't have to put the nose down as far. It kind of slides. I mean, you can see it. Like, think of this aerodynamically, right? The air is hitting it like this. This is gonna cut through the air way nicer than this. So this will be more of like a hybrid kind of rig where you can kind of do 5-inch shit, but then you can also do Cinewhoop stuff. So yeah, interesting rig. Man, it's got a lot of power. I don't necessarily understand this versus the 3-inch version. Well, I mean, I understand why Gep RC is making this, because it'll sell. But from our standpoint, I don't necessarily understand this versus the 3-inch version of it, unless the 3-inch version of this doesn't make enough thrust. But I kind of doubt that. Like, we have motors and props available for 3-inch that make tons of thrust. Case in point, these Cinesplorers. You know, having this be 3.5-inch, now you've got to have a whole separate set of propellers. Maybe even a different set of motors. I'm not going to dive into any of the tech specs because this is technically not out yet. I I mean, there's nothing... I feel okay showing this to you guys a little bit because it's the fucking same thing as the Cinelog 30, but 35. So there's really nothing to see here. But I don't know. I'm really impressed by how solid the fucking thing is. So like, for like like maybe like if this was your only rig, might be cool because it's got the extra power for doing 5-inch nonsense, and then the guards are nice and strong, so you can bang it into shit. I don't know. I don't think it's for me though, but maybe it's for you. I think what I'm gonna do is put shark bite on this and take it to a gig or two and see how it does. See if there's some flight situation that that I find this to be better with. I don't know. It's tall. It's big. It's a big thing. Like look at the size difference. Like it's a big gangly motherfucker. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. I am intrigued by it. All of a sudden I have to take a shit again. Alright. Let me give you guys something to watch. Some stadium flying? Stadium flying. I'll be right back. There's gonna be like me crashing and shit, but I'll be back. enough of that flying nonsense. Alright, Expander, thanks for hanging, brother. Freelojo says, it'd be for carrying that big heavy GoPro. You know, that's what I thought originally. But the Cinesplorers carry the big heavy GoPros just fine. So yeah, I don't know. My guess is it's more about efficiency. The 3.5 inch props are definitely more efficient than the 3-inch props. So yeah, I would think it would be efficiency based, but who the hell knows? Frank says the Cinolog 35 is out. Reviews appeared October 20th. Ah, very cool. I was waiting to see Joshua Bardwell's review. All right, well then, so yeah, if it's out, then here's what it looks like. It's looks just like the 30, but a little bit bigger. It's nice. It's a cool build. It's got an AIO, so that is a nightmare. But yeah, I'm really, the thing I'm most shocked about is how strong it is. I mean, like it's really stout, man. Like they really did a good job. The prop guards, there's one on the left, there's one on the right, which is probably one of the things that makes them so strong. Yeah. Yeah. If you need more power, more speed, more efficiency, then the Cinolog 30, then this is it. But it is going to be a little heavier. You're going to have another propeller that you have to keep extras of. Not many extras, but the biggest problem I have with it is the hover point is super low. Super low. They put 2004 motors on it, and they chose a strange KV. They went with 2550 kV, which is basically a 5S kV, which is just insane. Like, don't buy 5S batteries. That's stupid. Buy 4S or 6S. So I've been running this thing on 6S 550s and 6S 450s, and the power is unbelievable. Like, it's got so much power. Which I brought down. I brought the throttle limit down to 80%. That definitely helped it a little bit. I also put a pretty serious throttle scale on it, but it's still, the hover point is like very low, like 10-15% on the throttle, and that makes it really hard to fly like accurately and control your elevation. So that's really my biggest complaint with it. But that's a pretty serious complaint. Like, you know, if this is being marketed, maybe it's not, but, you know, as a cinematic rig, that's not good. I can say, though, that there is something about the tall ducts, right? These are ducts, these are prop guards. There is something about the ducts that makes elevation control easier. Kebab has even talked about that in the past, so I know it's not just me. So as like a cinematic rig, I don't know if it's gonna work. But as a kind of do a little bit of everything rig, like so for example, right? If I needed to come down the side of a building and then fly right up to somebody's face and have them like grab the quad or something like that. That is what I think this would do. A rig with taller ducts on it is not gonna want to come down the side of a building perfectly smooth. Whereas this has a much better chance of doing that. So that's where I think that this is more of like an in-between kind of rig, where if you have to do something in one big continuous shot, and a 5-inch rig is too sketchy because you're gonna fly it right by a human being, and a Cinewhoop doesn't have as like good enough flight characteristics to pull off the shot, that's where I think something like this might really shine. So yeah, we'll see. I'm either gonna convert it to analog or I'm gonna convert it to shark bite, and I am gonna take this to a gig with me, and I am gonna fly this, and we'll see what happens. I do need to get a different GoPro holder. They ship it with this beautiful 3-color mount, but it's for a Hero 10, which I don't have. I have a Hero 8, so I got to try to find a 3D print file for this that'll hold the Hero 8, and then beg one of you kind bastards to print it for me. But yeah, there you go. Cinelog 35 HD. Those are my sort of introductory thoughts. I only have one battery on it, and I was flying it at night. Yeah, pretty impressed. These Cinelogs from the reviews seem to be the best of this style of rig, which is basically an AIO prop guarded GoPro carrier. So if that's what you're looking for, the Cinelogs, it sounds like from the reviews, are the ones that you want to get. And I now understand that because of how stout this is. So that's kind of nice. If you guys have any questions about this thing, just let me know. Free Lojo makes botanical extracts. That's pretty slick. License to Drive says, what you said about just giving in to your mental health because you're stuck together forever, ain't that the truth? Nobody's got a cure for my Asperger's yet. Yeah, it's a harsh reality of mental illness that no matter what you do, it ain't going anywhere. You know, you can spend all the time and money you want on therapy and on drugs and over-the-counter drugs. It's all just managing it. It's all just managing proper mental illness, that is, right? Like, just feeling sad because a pet died. Like, that's not this. Like, I'm talking about, like, people that are, like, actually diagnosed with depression, anxiety, ADHD, Asperger's, PTSD, all the things. Yeah, there's not a cure for it. And that's, like, when you really come to grips with that, deep down inside, it's kind of like, it's not great to realize that, but I think it is something that's kind of important to realize at some point. Because yeah, you don't want to live in this land of make-believe that, like, oh, there's a cure, that, you know, I'll just take a different pill. Like, it's not true. Like, you have to learn to, like, live with it, basically, and you have to respect it, and yeah, just one of those things. DJ CJX says, thoughts on the Caddx Peanut. I don't have the Caddx Peanut, but I had the Insta360 Go 2, and it died on the very first crash. So my thoughts on the Caddx Peanut are, I hope to hell that they figured out a way to make it more durable than the Insta360 Go 2. Especially because I don't think you can buy the Caddx Peanut from anywhere that offers physical damage protection. So that's going to be my second thought on the Caddx Peanut, is that I would absolutely not buy that thing unless you can find a place that's selling it with a physical damage protection plan. Because I'll bet you that it's no more durable than the Insta360 Go 2. There's no reason that it would be. So, yeah. Andre Bellingham says Albert Kim and Nick Burns have reviews of the Cinelog 35. Very cool. Nick Burns, really? I was just on his channel today, and I didn't see a Cinolog review. For the new one, at least. I know, I'm pretty sure that Nick reviewed the Cinolog 30, but I'm not seeing a review for the 35. And he would have gotten in trouble if he'd posted a review of the 35 prior to like a couple days ago. So I don't think Nick Burns actually has a review of the 35. I could definitely be wrong though. Frank Nicholas says, do you know which Caddx camera it has? I might be interested in buying the Vista / camera from you. It's black. It says Caddx on it. You can probably tell by looking at it. It's that one. Whatever one that is. I was depending on the measurements of it, I was actually going to keep it. I'm really dying to fly one of my rigs, one of my glides with DJI on it. And so my plan is to keep this Vista, maybe keep this camera too, and drop them into the budget glide build, so that I can fly something that I'm familiar with on DJI. It depends. So I have the reason that I might not keep this camera is if this camera is too big. If this camera is small enough to fit in 20mm standoffs, which I think it is, I'm gonna keep this camera. If it's not, and if I have to run 23mm standoffs, I have one of the OG DJI silver cameras that I'll use. But I think, looking at the way that this camera body is shaped, I think that I can fit this under 20mm standoffs. So yeah. I'm planning on keeping this DJI setup, but we'll see. We will see. Where am I at here in the chat? BlitzFPV says, could you have a quick look at the awesome video I sent in the Discord? Some really cool chase footage of full-size planes. I'll definitely take a look. I don't typically do that on the stream, though, for copyright sound and whatnot issues. So I'll check it out tonight, Blitz. Frank says, I know you have a Hero 8, just an FYI, Hero 9 and 10 use the same mount. Yep. I actually have a whole bunch of Hero 9 and 10 mounts that I had to get when I thought that I was switching over to the Hero 10. Freelojo says, some of them have okay CBD levels, too. Nice. BlitzFPV says, I have ADD, have it off easy. My mom has Asperger's. Sister has crippling anxiety and depression, and I see how horribly it affects them, and I try to do the best I can for them. Yeah, it's all we can do, Blitz. You know, we try to help ourselves. We try to help the people around us that have it. That's all we can do. Freelojo says, it is legal where I am. Nice. Frank says, ask Patrick if the camera supports 1280 by 720, 120. Patrick doesn't know anything about this rig. I don't even know anything about this rig because it hasn't been out. None of the specs have been out yet. This is set / configured in the goggles. If it supports it, the option will be there. Oh, okay, then maybe he will know. If you have any DJI gear that you want to get rid of, I'm sure many would be willing to make an offer. Yeah, no, I just have that one camera that I have no real plans of getting rid of. Andre says, Taycan 35 on Nick's channel. Gotcha. Freelojo says, the OG silver DJI cam might be higher FPS. Chomper says, the silver OG is the best overall. Ditch the Nebula Pro. So is that what this is? This is the Nebula Pro. That silver camera, I know that I won't be able to fit under 20mm standoffs, which sucks. I don't want to have to go all the way up to 23mm. And I mean, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. And then Andre says, take M25. Can't type, it's all good. Frank says that's probably a Polar. Oh, okay. I mean, it was really good at night. You know what it probably says on the back of it? I don't know why I didn't think to look at the back plate of the goddamn camera. Cadix, FPV. Nope. Really? You motherfuckers don't put the name of the model name of the fucking thing on the fucking thing? What? What fucking world is it? Yeah, it doesn't say anywhere on it what it is. It just says Cadix over and over and over again. You fucking assholes. What the fuck is wrong with you? Whatever. Cadix, get your shit together. Put the name of the goddamn product on the product. Oh, good. Let's see if we can get this camera to focus. Come on. Hey, there we go. Man, I'm getting good at making this camera focus when it doesn't want to. All right, let's keep pulling these motors off. Enough nonsense, fancy-ass DJI talk. Bad enough that I'm putting a fucking AIO into this rig. I don't want to be sitting here talking about evil DJI. I don't think it's the Polar, come to think of it, because like it was flyable at night, but it was no more flyable than any of my non-Starlight analog cameras. And from the reviews that I've seen of the Polar, like it turns nighttime into daytime. Like not really, but I know what a Starlight camera looks like, and it did not look like that last night. It looked more like a regular old. I am anti-AIO, June Loco, but this particular frame kind of sort of forces you to run an AIO if you want the front arms to be removable. So, and I want to keep flying this frame because it flies really, really nice. So yeah, I'm going to give AIOs another chance, which I'm actually fine with because like if the AIO holds up, then I can go, oh, okay, so they're not that bad. If it doesn't hold up, I can go, see, I fucking told you guys. So it's a win-win for me. Quite frankly, I hope it holds up. Because I don't want to have to work on this rig again. But if it doesn't hold up, I'm fine with that too. Because it just proves my point. You know what I mean? And it's all about being right. Am I right, guys? If there's one thing I know about being a man, it's that all that matters is being right all of the time. If there's one thing that having male gonads has taught me, it's that all that matters is that you're right. You don't have to help anybody, you don't have to do anything good, just be right all the time, and you're winning at life. Everyone around you will hate you, but, I mean, that, you know, who cares? As long as you're right, who cares? Be wrong, gentlemen. It's the biggest, best piece of life advice I can give you, is to be wrong as often as possible. The more often you're wrong, the more you'll be learning, and the more human you will be. Nobody likes somebody that's right all the time. And nobody learns anything from being right all the time. So be wrong, man. Be wrong as fuck. Be wrong all the time. Call yourself on being wrong. Learn from being wrong. And you'll be a better human here on Earth with the rest of us imperfect, wrong people. And it'll be great. Get out of there. Come on. It'll be great. I promise you'll be okay. Nobody will think less of you for being wrong. Because everybody has been wrong over and over again in their lives. And anybody that's going to get upset about you being wrong is going to be somebody who doesn't think it's okay to be wrong. And that's really not the kind of person that you want to associate with. Get them people out of your life. That shit's toxic. Alright, just touching up a couple of those little solder blobs there. Andre Bellingham, whether that's what she said. Freelojo says learning from mistakes is important. It is. You just gotta allow yourself to make those mistakes, right? Like if you're afraid of being wrong, then you're gonna be afraid of doing things that put you in situations where you have the opportunity to make the mistake. So yeah, you have to be willing to, in order to be wrong, you have to put yourself in scenarios where you might be wrong. And that takes some courage. Because it feels bad. It feels bad to be wrong, you know? Know what I mean? So I'm going to do this in kind of a roundabout way. I'm going to... Well, no. I can desolder... Okay, yeah, I know how I'm going to do this. Let me first clean up. There's a shitload of flux on here. I think this happened when this one solder joint came off, and Patrick and I did like a rush repair to resolder this one motor wire back on here. And I think one or both of us got a little carried away with the flux. So let me just clean this off. This is just going to be a toothbrush with isopropyl alcohol, and it will get flux off. You got to scrub it a little bit, but it will get the flux off. Give it a little patience. A little bit more on the toothbrush here. Let me actually just let it sit on there for a second to let it really do its thing. Music ran out. Let me cue it back up. There we go. All right. Mr. Huggy says Runcam has a new night camera out, the Night Eagle 3. Now that has night vision. Very cool. I hadn't actually seen that. Quad Killer says it's the Nebula Pro 19 by 19 by 20. Okay, cool. Good to know. Scott Gillen says X was like that. I could show her a research paper that proves her incorrect. She would say no, I can't verify it, so it has to be wrong. That's tough. That's tough. It's up to us though to figure out a way, man. It ain't easy. Freelojo says 99% isopropyl is the best. I think this is like 80%. I was able to get this at Target when I just needed something. Yeah, I took a bunch of it off. Try to get this last little bit here. Oh, that's a lot better. Way better than it was. Let me, looks like there's a whole shitload of it on the back of the arm too. Let me just try to get this off real quick. Not a big deal, but it's just sticky. Like, I would just grab it by this arm and it would be all sticky and annoying. Alright. That's a little better. All right, that is way, way, way better. It's at least not like crazy sticky anymore. So that's a big win there. All right, what is up next? I guess, so what I want to do is desolder these race wires and race LEDs one at a time, and then I'm going to solder the new race wires, and then I'm going to desolder it from the ESC. So let's get going, I think, on that. Unless I want to pull the... Oh yeah, I can pull this whole thing out of here. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to pull this ESC with these out of here, and then we can do this all on the wood block. So here's me cutting. I have to cut the zip ties that are holding on the RXSR antennas. So yeah, I think I am going to move this thing over to Crossfire. We'll see. Don't quote me on that, though. There's a chance I'll be lazy and won't do that. But I don't know. Figure that out when we get to it. Okay. So yeah, now I guess the only other thing I want to do is to desolder the capacitor. So let me do that real quick here. Get this soldering iron up in there. Because I've got the capacitor leads at like the perfect length. So in theory, I'll be able to move them over to the AIO. All right, there's one, and here's the other. All right, there we go. And I guess I'll leave the battery leads on this ESC, and I'll just grab another XT30. That's fine. I don't think it'll really save me, any time to desolder these battery leads from here. Let me take 1 second though to clean up the there's fucking solder all over the place. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. Let me just take one quick little hit here. That's better. That one spot that was kind of ugly. Okay, so this is actually an iFlight ESC that's not sold anymore. It takes up to 6S, and this iFlight ESC has actually really had the hell beaten out of it. This was on the Acrobrat for a while, and then it was on this 250, and it's been really, really good. It says V4 on the bottom. Yeah, again, it's not sold anymore. I want to say it's like a 35 amp, but yeah, this thing kind of blew me away. I'm pretty impressed by this ESC. So iFlight's doing something right, in my opinion. Okay, so I'm gonna remove each one of these individually, and then put the new race wire on. I kind of wanna shrink wrap these now. Should I shrimp them now or should I shrimp them later? I think I'll shrimp them now. Let me get some shrimping done here. Oh, you fart bag bastard. The reason that I shrink wrap these guys is to help with prop strikes. They do get hit by the props, and with these LED race wires, you can knock the LEDs off. It doesn't affect the rig at all. Like, you just knock the LED off, and then it's got one less LED. But I found that just putting a little piece of shrimp wrap over it definitely helps. What it also does is it gives a little bit of thickness to the bottom of this to prevent it from grounding out on the carbon. So it accomplishes a couple of things. And it doesn't take very long, so it's just kind of like one of those things that I'm willing to do. Okay. Get this lined up. And one more. All right, sweet. Okay. I'm guessing that Bot is going to stream tonight from Super Deluxe's setup. That'll be pretty cool. That'll probably be really fun. All right, let's get these shrimped up. This shrimp wrap is a little too tight, so we're just going to put it into needle nose pliers and stretch it out just the tiniest little bit. Frank Nicholas says the sticky / wet on the arms, is that one of the quads where you lube the arms? It is not. It is from Flux. Bob Noxious says, what's up? What's up, brother? Stop getting really quick. Drop stuff off at the shop. Skyzo and Cobra X's shit the bed today. Completely dead. That blows. Scott Gillen says, how is the T-Motor Mini? What T-Motor Mini? The, are you talking about the flight controller that I put into the Basher Glide? If so, I haven't gotten that rig up in the air yet, so I don't know. I'm sure it's fine, though. If a flight controller works and doesn't give you weird shit on the test hover, then it's usually completely fine. So when I say stretch the shrink wrap, I literally mean stretch the shrink wrap. You can stretch it out a little bit here, and then when it shrinks up, it shrinks all the way back to its original size and beyond. So you can get, if you ever have shrimp wrap that just barely fits, just stretch it. Just stretch it a little bit and you'll be fine. I'm gonna do all 4 of these, and I'm gonna do some wood burning. I'm gonna hit them with the torch while they're on the wood block. Smell nice in here. All right. A little bit of shrimp wrap here. I didn't stretch this one quite enough. You just got to make sure you don't stretch it too much because you can tear it pretty easily. But you can usually get a good amount of stretch on shrimp wrap before it lets go. Before it tears. The exoskeletons of the shrimp are very durable. Alright, there we go with that. Come on. Get on there. Get on there. Oh, come on. Don't make me stretch it back out again. Be a good little shrimp. There we go. Last one here. All right. No, I definitely didn't stretch this one enough on this one side here. Get it. These shrimp are very tight. This must have been from a farm of adolescent shrimp, because this shrimp wrap is a little smaller. That's how they get the different. That's how they get the different sizes on the shrimp wrap. It's related to how old the shrimp were. So when you get really skinny shrimp wrap, you'll know it's from adolescent young shrimp. All right, let's do some fire play. What do you say? Where's the little torch? Where's my little torch? There it is. Torching. Mmm, smells like shrimp up in here. Smells like seafood. I'll bet you guys never even noticed that when you heat shrimp wrap up, it smells like seafood. You thought it was just the cooking going on in the kitchen. It's not, man. It's the shrimp molecules coming out. That's what it is. You guys didn't know that. I can tell. All right, we're all shrimped up. One of these days. I hope so, Dan. Yeah, that's why I keep doing it, because I want somebody to call me on it. I want somebody to be like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? That can't possibly be true. And then I'm gonna unleash my Wikipedia page that I launched. Okay, so we got those guys. Oh, I need that wood block again. All right, so now I'm just going to individually remove each of these existing race wires and swap on these other ones. And then I can desolder them from the ESC and put them onto the AIO. And then once that's done, I can jump off the roof, because that's the same experience as using an AIO. Alright, there we go. There we go. Cool. The reason I'm doing these individually is it's going to save me a little bit of time in which wire goes where, basically. Do it with that little guy on the inside. So yeah, that's really the only reason that I'm doing them one by one like this. And I don't really think it's saving much time, but any little bit of time I can save, I'm always going to do it. Okay. And get off of there. There we go, that's better. One of my little tricks is I will hold the, use my index finger on my right hand for a second there to hold the wire exactly where it's going to sit on the pad, and then release with the tweezers, and then like re-grab with the tweezers, so that you're holding it exactly where the pad is going to be. So you grab the wire with the tweezers, you get it roughly where it's going to be, use your right index finger to hold that wire flat. That's going to boost the silicone coated part of the wire up a little bit, which is exactly what you want. And then you're going to be at the right height. Oh, I just burned the shit out of this mat. Whoopsie. Whoops! Let me just do it one more time here, because I didn't get it quite right. There we go, that's better. And then, yeah, and then the wire will be sitting in the right spot on the pad. It won't be sitting down too low. There we have it. All right, so let's keep going. Man, I did a number on this mat. Over here, that's fine now. Remy Tim says bot goes live 2 hours from now. License to Drive says stepped out, now just getting caught up. Thanks for your point of view on mental health. Bit of a weird place right now. Mom died peacefully in her sleep last Saturday night. Oh, Jesus, License. I'm so sorry, man. Fuck. Been living with her my whole life. I have great friends and family propping me up right now, so things are okay. To good. Damn, License. I'm so sorry, dude. Oh, God. That's really hard, man. My mom had breast cancer last year, and so I kind of sort of had to face that a little bit. Just the reality of that, of losing that person, right? Which was kind of eye-opening. If there's anything that any of us can do for you, man, of course, just ask. We're all here. Typically, there's not much. Typically, this is, you know, it's just going to take time and grief to kind of get through this. So give yourself the time. Be as kind to yourself as you can. And, yeah. That's really, really rough, man. That's arguably, like, you know, as bad as it gets. My parents are both in their 70s, so yeah, I mean, at some point I'm going to be in that same boat, and I'm sure that I won't deal with it all that well. I'm sure that I'll be a hot mess. But, you know, I mean, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. This, like, toxic positivity, like, oh, just cheer up. Like, no. Grieve. If you don't grieve now, you're gonna grieve at some point. So, you might as well do it now, because it's coming. You can't just bury shit. Like, hate to be the bearer of bad news, men that haven't woken up yet, but anything that you bury will come back out. And it will probably come back out at a worse time. So you might as well deal with it now, because it ain't going anywhere. Sort of similar to what I was saying before about, like, mental illness. Like, one of the hardest realizations is that you're in it. Like, there's not a cure. So, like, deal with that now, you know? Deal with that reality now, rather than when you're in a fight with your significant other, or with your boss, or, you know, in any number of other scenarios where you need to be clear-headed, and you don't want old, unresolved emotions calling the shots, because that is not when good decisions are made. Alright, we got another one on here. Halfway there. And then we get to desolder them all from the goddamn ESC, and that'll just be a whole barrel of monkey turds. Just make this wire a little bit more thin here on the tip. There we go. Just the tip, just for a little bit, just to see how it feels. Call it out, collective. What's it from? First person to get it wins a big prize. It's actually from Billy Eichner used to say that in Billy on the Street. All right. Oh, nope. Let's get that one on there. Scott Gillen says, Ciotti is woke. I try to be, man. I try to be. License Drive says, something I realized a short while ago when I was outside, losing the bond with someone special, then strengthening the bonds with other people that knew them. Things are good in that respect. That's really interesting. Yeah. See, shit like that, license, like that's the kind of shit that comes from deep loss. And, you know, like, and that's incredible that you're catching those things already, man. That's what... Yeah, I mean, there's, of course, the cliche of, like, you know, we have to have loss so that... We have to have death so that life is more important or whatever. But, I mean, like, what you're getting at there is even more woke, really, right? I mean, that's kind of what we're talking about here in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, that one's fine. I was tempted to redo that one, but it's fine. Okay. Last one here. Alright, looking good. Take a quick look at these. Just want to look at that first one, really. Oh, no, we're fine. That first one's fine. Okay, yeah, those ones are good. Last OG race wire on here. Gene Loco says ELRS looking mighty tempting lately. Yeah, I'm really... ELRS is such a good option for these 1S tiny whoops. I would really like to move over, but I'm still waiting for a... I'm just going to wait a little bit longer. Did Maytech also release a module? That's really what I need. But see, I don't even know if I want to go down that road. Like, I don't like the idea of switching modules back and forth and back and forth and back and forth on a transmitter because those pins are like janky as fuck. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I would almost like to just buy a second. Oh, you know what? I do want... So that's what I'll do. I have been meaning... Again, trying to get 2 of everything. I have been meaning to pick up another QX7. So that's what I'll do. I'll get another QX7, and that'll be the ELRS radio. And it'll also be my backup radio. So yeah, if you guys see HD3s or a QX7 for sale, let me know. And I'll probably end up buying it. I'll obviously check FPV Exchange, but yeah, if you guys see anything, do me a favor and give me a holler. I'll probably snag it. I would love to. So I don't want another white QX7. I want a black one this time. So a black QX7, ideally QX7S. I would love to get an S. And hopefully old school, pre-access, so that it'll work with my existing RXSRs. Although that's not the biggest deal in the world because my white one is pre-access. So I don't think that actually matters. If the secondary QX7, like none of the rigs that I use for work are on RXSRs. So yeah, this white QX7 could just be my RXSR transmitter and crossfire transmitter, and then the black QX7 could be my ELRS. And if it's access, it's access. That's fine. If I ever get an access receiver, I'll have access to it. But if I get an access receiver, I'll have access to it. Great. All right. So that's good to go. Now we just need to remove these from the from this ESC, and I guess I might as well blop them onto the AIO while I'm here. I know how I'm going to mount the AIO. Yeah. Might as well. What I don't know is how the AIO is going to sit on here, though, and whether or not I'm going to put it right side up or upside down. Oh, I kind of have to put it right side up. If I put it upside down, the USB port will be really hard to get to. So yeah, it's going to go right side up. So it's going to sit like that, and it's going to be right side up. So yeah, what the hell? I'll put the new ones on. So let me tin the pads on this AIO. Awesome, thanks Chomper. God, I already forgot. Big FPV says I have one. It's not an X7S, but the same. I put the M7 gimbals, and it has the Ciot Crossfire mod. Nice. Big FPV, do me a favor. Shoot me a message, CiottiFPV, on either Facebook or Instagram. It's the only way that I'll remember. June Loco says you should get a Radio Master or a jumper due to multi-protocol. I would love to, but I find those transmitters to be just impossible to fly on. The shape of the QX7 is really the only shape that works for my big gangly fucking hands. I have big long fingers. So the big wide radio body, like the Mambo would probably work, but the Mambo has the worst set of protocols on it ever. So I can't do that. I can't get that radio. I would love to, but you know, TBS made some really strange, confusing choices with that radio. That yeah, I don't. TBS be doing some weird shit, man. And like, they do some shit where it's like, it's really hard to see the purpose of what they've done outside of like trying to get people's money. Or trying to like force people to get into their ecosystem top to bottom. Very weird. Very, very weird. Like, they take this Apple approach where it's like, no, we're going to tell you what you want. But unlike Apple, like, Apple can get away with that shit because they're right. But TBS is not right. Like, their stuff, unlike Apple, their stuff is not like grossly better than all the other stuff, or at least like grossly easier or like advantageous in some specific way. Like, their stuff is just stuff. Like, and in some cases their stuff is not better than the other products that are out there. So it's weird, man. It's weird. It's like, on one hand, I get what they're trying to do, but on the other hand, like, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna force people to go on Tracer, then Tracer has to be better than the other stuff out there, and it really isn't. Like, Ghost is better from a long-range standpoint. And ELRS is better kind of like full stop, like across the board. So yeah, the Mambo forcing people onto Tracer. I mean, it does have the module bay, but I mean, like, what's the fucking point? Like, other than, you know, if you're a TBS fanboy, which is fine, you know, it's okay to be a fanboy. But I'm not one. Quite far from it, as a matter of fact. I've had a good amount of trouble from TBS gear over the years. More so than I have with Immersion RC gear, that's for sure. And I've known a lot of people that have had issues with TBS gear too. So it's not just me. It's an unpopular opinion because there's a lot of TBS fanboys out there. But, you know, I'm not sponsored by anybody, so I don't. I use the stuff that works the best and or for the money, basically. Steady Eddie FPV with us $9.99 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, so Ciotti can eat funds. Thank you, dude. Much appreciated. And again, it was great to meet you this afternoon. All right, last set of pads here. So these are scalloped motor pads, which I kind of have a love-hate relationship. I just have a love, like, hate is a strong word. I don't think I ever hate these scalloped pads, but I don't always love them either. Sometimes I like them. Trying to make sure the entire pad is tinned. On a couple of these, there was a little bit of gold still showing. 661 says ELRS is low raw and Tracer is FLRC, which is supposed to be better. See, I'd heard that this might be what you're saying, 661, but I've heard that low raw is better. From like a technology standpoint. Freelojo says most of my TBS stuff has died. That's why I'm running Ghost. Yeah, that's the main issue that I have with TBS stuff is that it really just doesn't seem to be all that reliable. Like when you really look at it and when you really compare it with other stuff, yeah, my TBS stuff. Outside of Crossfire TBS stuff has been, I mean, pretty much bulletproof. But outside of Crossfire, everything that I've run that's been TBS has been like, I won't say fragile, but I won't say not fragile. Like, it just doesn't seem to hold up all that well. It feels like they kind of either they use like less expensive materials to make a little bit more profit. Like one of the things that I do notice about TBS is that they don't make it, they don't hide the fact that they are trying to make a profit. And that's fine. It's fine to want to make a profit. One of the ways to do that is to use less expensive components when you're designing stuff. Well, if you're the only game in town, you can get away with that. But they're not. And so there's other stuff which in many cases is also cheaper, like the Immersion RC Tramp BTX, for example, that is more reliable and less expensive. And yeah. So that's been my experience. And then like, so like the TBS Pro 32, for example, I've had 2 of those $30 little tiny VTXs fail on me. And I've run, I think, like 8 Eachine Nano $12 VTXs. And I don't think any of the Eachines have failed on me. So yeah, like I don't want to hate on TBS, but man, like I just hear from a lot of people, and I see in my own experience that, like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem to hold up. And then like I tend to hear like, yeah, and I switched over to this other thing and it's been great. And I'm like, well, fuck, that's kind of the same thing that happened to me. So yeah, I don't know. TBS VTX is, I don't know. Okay, so let's start getting these race wires moved over. So with the battery leads facing rearwards, we're going to remove, well, let's just do them in order. We'll do motor 1 first. There's a novel idea. Do them in order. Our shit is numbered. Use the numbers. All that being said, there are people who've had really good luck with TBS. Remy Tim is one of them. He seems to have had nothing but good luck with TBS VTXs, which is awesome. I love that. TBS sells enough stuff where there are going to be a lot of complaints about it, right? Like if you sell enough of something, there are going to be people who manage to blow it up, basically. So it could be that. It could totally be that. But I don't know if it is. I don't know. It's hard, man. Getting a feel for reliability is really, really difficult. For what TBS charges for some of their stuff, I feel like it shouldn't, like, the only feedback should be that it's super reliable. But again, that's unrealistic because we smash these things into brick walls at 1,000,000 miles an hour. So I don't know. It's tough. It really is. It's really tough to kind of separate a company making a lot of something and there being a lot of opportunities for people to either install them incorrectly or just them to fail because we're hard on our gear, versus, yeah, they're using lower quality components or whatever. So take everything you hear with a grain of salt, of course. Freelo just says probably need to update firmware, but runs great. Andre says, when's the next car-based stream? Just put coilovers in my car, itching to talk car stuff, aka my bad decisions. Won't be too long. I've been playing a little bit of Gran Turismo Sport lately, not streaming it. Just kind of playing around. I will be doing another sim racing stream soon enough, I'm sure. So stay tuned for that, car fans. What coilovers did you get, Andre? Fortune 500s? Seems to be what everybody gets nowadays. There are, on my Miata, it has Tane flexes, which are okay. And then on the Mazda 2, it's got K-Sports, Right now it's got case ports all around. I do own a set of AST, who used to be Moton, rears for it, but they need to be revalved. I ran them on. They were valved for an autocross rear spring, and I ran them on a much softer rear spring, and it just destroyed them. It just destroyed the valving, and I knew that I was dancing with the devil doing that, but I didn't realize it would fuck the valving up so quickly. So now is a little bit of a moment of truth. Is this gonna be long enough? Oh yeah, beautiful, beautiful. All right, cool. So we're good to go. So what I was wondering is when you solder the motor wires up on the scalloped things, it uses a little bit of the length to go downwards, and I was worried it was going to be too short, but it's not. It's just right. So we are good to go. Let's get motor 2 pulled off of here, and we'll just keep charging through this. Freelojo says, the only Tramp Nano that died on me, wrong voltage. Oops. Yeah. Ruby Tim says, Tracer is racer-focused protocol. Of course you think it's shit. Doesn't meet all of your very specific needs, because they already make a protocol that meets those needs. Yeah, true. True. I mean, you have to agree, though, that it's kind of insane that they didn't build Crossfire into the Mambo, first and foremost, right? Like, come on. But also that they don't, at the very least, make a version of the Mamba, or Mambo, whatever the fuck it's called, where you can get Crossfire on it. I mean, like, let's be honest, though. It's absolutely insane that the Mambo does not have Tracer and Crossfire built in. Like, that's just... I don't know. I guess you could make the argument that that would make it more expensive, but, like, I don't know. I don't fucking buy it. I have to assume that... I don't know, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But I would assume that there would be a way for not a lot of money for that radio to work on both Crossfire and Tracer. And quite honestly, I think that people would be willing to pay extra for that. I certainly would. If it worked with Crossfire, I would probably fucking buy one right now. But what TBS seems to be doing is like almost trying to force people to move over to Tracer so that they, and Joshua talked about this actually. Like it really feels like they're just trying to get as many people to rebuy their shit as possible, right? Like all these people that are on Crossfire, if they're a TBS fanboy and they have to have the newest, best radio, they have to go over to... Well, I guess they don't have to. They can just use a module. But I don't know. It just... When Joshua said that, like, I wasn't really thinking that, but, like, when he explained it, it made a lot of sense. It's in his review of the Mamba. He kind of goes over that in a way that makes a lot of sense. Alright, so some of these wires got a little ugly. Just clean them up a little bit. There we go. License to Drive says, what's special about the Mazda 2? I read it ranked 19th out of 23 small cars in terms of reliability. The weight and the suspension geometry. The Mazda 2 is pretty much the best handling cornering B-spec car in existence. Also, you can parts share with a lot of Mazda parts, which is really nice for me. I can use the same wheels and tires on the Mazda 2 as I do on my Miata. It's a good-looking car. It's actually been super reliable. I always wonder about those reliability surveys because, like, I mean, they seem to get it right with, like, Toyota Camrys and Toyota Corollas and shit like that, but, yeah, I don't know. It's plus it's made by Mazda. Mazda cars have they have an air about them. They just handle in a way that screams, hey, a whole bunch of engineers that really care about cornering designed this. Unfortunately, they need to find some more engineers that know how to design good engines, because that's really where Mazda's engineering struggles. They're typically the best handling cars, but they're also typically the cars with the least amount of power. But what you can do without a lot of power is pretty fucking fantastic. And it's sort of a part of the magic that is Mazda. Mazda reminds me of Ford in a couple of ways in this respect, where, like, Ford typically doesn't have the engines that produce the most amount of power, or have the biggest torque figure or displacement, but their suspension design is better typically than Chevy, and did I solder this up backwards? What the hell happened here? And their engines sound really good. When Chevy and Honda tend to make engines that make more power, but they don't sound as good. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but the sound an engine makes for me is actually really, really important, because I have to enjoy driving it and enjoy listening to it, on top of it just having a bunch of power. So yeah, the sound a car makes is actually really, really important to me, and a lot of enthusiasts actually. It's one of those things that doesn't get talked about a whole lot, but it does make a big difference. If a car sounds good, you can like, I'll take a car that makes like 40 less horsepower but sounds really good every single day, because yeah, driving is an experience. It's not just, I don't care about winning, right? Like, more power is just a way of winning. A car that sounds good and is enjoyable to drive is all about being happy, you know? And I don't give a fuck about winning anymore. I just want to be happy. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, the biggest thing about the Mazda 2 is just the weight. There's just not a car that is as lightweight and corners the way that it does. And it's cheap. You can get Mazda 2s really, really cheap, which is great. You used to be able to pick them up for like $3,000. Now they're $4,000 and $5,000, just like everything else. The used car market has gone absolutely nuclear. But yeah. Andre says no more Miatas. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. That it certainly feels like this shop is never gonna give me the Miata back. If they ever do, I don't really know what the future holds. I would love to hang on to it, but I just don't know if it makes sense at this point. Like, the car's been hit so many times, and it was an Ohio car, so it does have a significant amount of rust. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's got a lot of parts on it, and it's had a lot of time put into it. But, like, there's a chance that I'll just let it go. I can probably get some money for it, too, because a lot of the Miata community knows the car. Like, a lot of the Miata community knows my car. And I might be able to get, like, a little bit of a premium for that. If you guys think I'm into FPV, you should have fucking known me when I was into motorsports. I was way deeper into motorsport than I am FPV. So yeah, I don't know if the fourth generation Miata, the ND, like David, is the best car I've ever driven. So, like, I would love to step up into a fourth gen and then build one of those up, because they, just like all the other Miatas, they respond really well to mods. Like, they're fine stock, but stock cars just are not interesting to me in any way. The new Miata is probably about as good as it gets in terms of, like, a stock sports car, but the thing about the Miata is, like, if you just spend like a couple grand on them, you can go from something that's good to something that's, like, extraordinary. So yeah, realistically, I'm never gonna be able to leave a car or anything alone for the most part. Orga A says, I hope you didn't tell this AIO what you think about his kind. Give it confidence. Andre says, what's the horsepower limit on B-Spec? I have a buddy who flogs his Mazda 2 and it won't die. I don't think that they have a horsepower limit. I think they just have, like, a bolt-ons only situation. License to Drive says, I can see the appeal now, what with being able to replace parts from other Mazdas easily. Yeah, you can also put Ford Fiesta parts onto Mazda 2s, which is kind of slick. Adam says, not on a track, he's just a terrible driver. Yeah, one of the things the Mazda 2 has going for it is it doesn't make enough horsepower to hurt itself. Adam also says FRS or Toyota 86. The chassis is great. Everything about the car is great other than the engine. The F20 or whatever the fuck that stupid ass boxer engine is can go to hell forever. Adam says, oh shit, salt on the roads. Do you live in a non-salted state now? I think I do. I don't think they salt the roads here in Georgia. Adam also says, is it the ND? They haven't cracked the engine coating to tune yet, or is that the latest model? So the ND is the latest model. I haven't looked into it enough to know. I don't know why I was calling you Andre. To know. Jackalope FPV with a $5 super chat. I just farted and might need to go wipe my ass. He says, happy Friday. Thank you, Jackalope. Let me just... discretion is the better part of valor in my old age here. Hold on. I'll be right back. Let me just make sure. Just wanna make sure. We're safe! Everything's fine. Everything's fine. All right? No shit in my pants on this live stream. Tune in next time to see if it finally happens. Although the night is still young. Although I'm probably going to wrap this up sooner than later. It's 9:41 already. We've been going for coming up on 3 hours. We got some shit done here, though. I mean, realistically, all I actually need to do at this point is wire up the all the communication stuff, and we'll be good to go. So that's pretty cool. I meant to weigh this AIO, but I didn't before soldering these leads on. Can one of you guys that's just sitting in front of your computer, can you look at a couple of AIOs, see what they weigh for me, and just give me like an average AIO weight? Just hit like a couple product pages for me if you don't mind. And then we can have like an average AIO weight, and then I'm gonna weigh that that ESC and flight controller over there, so we can have an idea. All right, so there we go. Let me actually look at these pads though with the 5X loop, make sure none of them are bridged. That looks good. That looks good. And that looks good. Awesome. All right, so we're good. So hopefully somebody in the chat will give us an average weight on AIOs. And then I am going to give us a weight on this shit. This is hard, man, because this now has this XT30 lead on it. I am going to weigh it with this, though. So this is with the XT30 lead. I have another XT30 lead in here, and so I'll weigh that, and then we'll have an idea. So this is coming in at 16 grams for this flight controller and AIO with the XT30. This one's not quite long enough. This one's long enough, but the wires are too thin. So 16 grams minus, so that's 2.3. What's this one weigh? So this is a better, so that so 16, let's say minus 3, so that's 13, and then, man, this is really long though. I'm gonna say this little chunk of wire here is probably like 2 grams, 2 extra grams. So this is, nah, it can't be 2 extra grams. So 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. So call it 12. Let's say 12 grams. 12 grams for this particular ESC and flight controller and the cable in between. June Loco says 6.3. 10, Quadkilla says 10 grams. So 6 to 10 grams. So yeah, it looks like AIOs versus 20 by 20 stacks is basically what I've been saying for a while. It's a 3 to 4 gram difference. Could be a little bit more than that. You know, it's gonna depend. Quadkilla says 10 grams. Yeah. Andre Bellingham says beefiest JHE MCU AIO is 7.3. It doesn't specify included wires in XT30. That's what fucks me up, is that these people put weights and then you don't know what they include, what they don't. Mother13 says, Gep RC AIO weighs 11.8, 12 grams with the XT30 end of cap, which looks like about 3.6 grams. Blitz says, looks to be about an average of 6 grams. Adam says, aren't most between 4.5 and 7, depending on the amp rating, higher is heavier. Yeah, typically. Scott Gillen says, back in the day, I bought a Honda Del Sol with a Whipple supercharger. It was dope as fuck. That's cool. I've always wanted a Del Sol, but I want a rear-wheel drive Del Sol, which doesn't really exist. Okay, so okay. So at this point, I mean, these guys are done. Motor weights. This is again going to be inexact because I just farted again. The Xnova 1804 has very short motor wires on it. 14.6 grams for the Xnova 1804 with full wires. This is not a good test. Let me cut these motor wires down at least a little bit on these Aerolites to make it a fair fight. I think that is probably as short as I want to cut them. I am going to remove... Well, no, we're going to leave these on. Okay. So 2004 Aerolite 3005 with short-ish wires is coming in at 15.1 grams. And then the 1804 Xnova is coming in at 15.3. So pretty much the same weight. Yeah, same weight between the two of them. This one's a 2004, this one's an 1804. They both have 3mm motor shafts. This one is M5 mount, this one is T mount. This has proven, this Xnova 1804 has proven time and time again to be horrendously durable. These Aerolite 2004s, from what I've heard from some other people that I do kind of trust, don't seem to be all that durable, but maybe I'll find them to be durable. I don't know. It's really hard to get good quality durability info when you're dealing with different people. Religious says, I saw pictures years ago of a Del Sol with a VET drivetrain. That's ridiculous. So yeah, I think this might be where we leave it for tonight. I need to figure out the mounting shit. I'm probably gonna pull this RXSR out of here. You know what? No, I'm not. Well, fuck. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I should pull it out of there. I really should. I might as well pop the arms off because they're gonna get moved from the bottom plate to the top plate. That's gonna make me really happy to do that. Let's do that real quick. That's gonna be a nice moment. Nope, that's not the one. Is this the one? That's the one. And while I'm doing this, I can also kind of show you guys the deal with the arms. I mean, I can show you guys that right now. So with the arms below the base plate, here are the arm screws. The secondary arm screws. They're under the stack. You see that? Here's the hardware for the 20x20 stack. Here's the arm screw. So to get this arm off. So yeah, well here, yeah, I'll take all 4 arms off. I have to change this hardware too. Run shorter hardware. I think I'm gonna have to move this over to 15 mil hardware actually, which is kind of funny, because that's what I have the glides on too. All right, so these are the outer arm bolts that jack into the standoffs here, and I'm no longer going to use these 15 mil standoffs because the arms are about to go above them instead of below them. The arms are about to go above the base plate, not above the standoffs. Alright. And so that's all of the outer arm bolts removed. Now we're going to remove the inner arm bolts. And as you're about to see, that process is going to have to happen here, looking down on the base plate. So yeah, if I broke one of these front arms, I would have had to take the 20x20 stack completely off to get to this secondary arm bolt, which I'm tempted to say, like, it's kind of crazy, but like the way that this frame is designed, I don't think there's another way. And the name of this frame is 2Fiddy, and if you're gonna build this thing to be 250 grams, I think you have to use an AIO. So I can't really complain too loudly. Like, if you name something, like if the actual name of the thing is kind of telling you, like, hey, build this with an AIO, yo, and then you don't build it with an AIO, it's kind of like, well, you know, that shit's on you now. If you don't do what you're told, then you've made your bed and you're gonna have to sleep in it. So I might as well pop this M2 hardware out of here as well. I can go to much shorter M2 screws. So yeah, next time we're gonna have to like figure out what hardware length we need and all that shit, which is gonna take some time for sure. But that's okay. Be worth it. Dave, I've got a JHE MCU AIO here that I've had for like, I must have bought this like a year ago. So hopefully it's, I've never used it though, so it should be fine. And I did get this. This was on like the first run of the JHE MCU AIOs, and I've heard from people that their AIOs in the first run were really good, and the subsequent runs were less good. It's really, that's a really tough one to nail down, because there's no real indication on them of which run they are, and like what that could totally be is just as more and more people bought them, more and more of them failed. And then it's like, oh, yeah, I mean, they've been out for a while now. Must be a second run issue, you know? So it's tough. But what I can say is that this is I think it's a 35 amp AIO. And these 2004 3500 kV motors do make some good power, so this will be a good test, and I am planning on crashing the shit out of this rig. So this AIO is it's got a hard life ahead of it. So we'll see. It'll get a hell of a durability test. We shall see. Family Guyver says past the expiration date. Yeah, right. Oh, nice, Adam. The RF is really, really nice. Ugh, what a great... The new Miata RF might be the best daily driver in the world. It is really nice. My God, it looks amazing. It's nice and quiet inside. Oh, what a car. Fucking expensive, though. I mean, all sports cars are expensive. They don't make many of them. They put aluminum everything in them to save weight. But used Miatas are so cheap that it's like it's hard to justify what an RF would cost. Especially because, you know, it's just a Miata, so it's really not gonna hold a ton of resale value either. In the short term, the resale value is fine, but most people with Miatas hold on to them for a long time because they're just so fucking good. And yeah, like a 15-year-old Miata, the resale value tends to go to hell. But maybe it won't on these NDs, because these could be the last generation of gas cars ever. And I really wonder if the values will stay kind of high. We will see. It'll happen in our lifetime. Alright, almost done removing this hardware here. 13 JHE-MCU AIOs. Only one had died, crashed them all repeatedly, but not nearly as hard as you crashed. The only one that died was the 125 amp AIO I bought by mistake. Nice. Okay, look at this mess that I've created. Wow. So I really need to get this thing done on Sunday, which is good, because I need to clear this. I need this bench to be clear sooner than later. So cool. If I stop here, will I be able to get this done on Sunday is the question. Put the arms somewhere. Put the arms up here. Okay. So let me mount the arms. Let's get this do I leave this on the RXSR, or do I move it to Crossfire? I would really like to. I'm just trying to justify leaving it on the RXSR because everything is mounted up, everything is good to go. I'm gonna leave it on the RXSR. I'm gonna leave it on the RXSR. I'm gonna leave it on the RXSR. Leaving it on the RXSR. It's fine. It's all up in there. Everything is good to go. It's fine. It's fine. All right. So, in doing that, let me move a bunch of these wires the fuck out of the way. This is so the ripsqueak, I think, is going to be like the main 3-inch that I fly. I think this, I don't think I'm going to build a bunch of these because it's a 4-inch rig, and I don't want I don't like the 4-inch props. I like the 3.5-inch and the 3-inch props better. So yeah, I think this is just going to be like a one-off rig that kind of sits on the wall a good amount, and because of that, an RXSR is perfect for it, because yeah, the RXSRs go in like the rigs that don't get flown a lot. So yeah, let's put the arms back. So it's also now occurring to me that I have to have the. I like to build on just the base plate, but I can't, because I need the arms to be on here for the platform that I'm going to be building on here. So I kind of need to put these arms on. I might as well put the Niogel on these arms. So we'll have a Niogeled 250, which will be kind of cool. So let's do it. Let me figure out what the deal is with these arms. I forget. I kind of forget how they lock up. Move this out of the way here. Is it like that? So it's there and there, and then it's there and there. So it's not like that. So the arms lock up like that, don't they? No. No, it is like that. Isn't it? Hold on. There and there. There and there. Nope, 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 nope. So it is like this. Man, that does not look right. It's one or the other. Let's throw these guys through, and then I'll be able to figure it out. So once that guy's through there, put this fella here. Oh, I know why it's looking so weird. Because it needs, there it is. That's it, that's it, that's it, that's it. And then I need this guy. Yep, there it is. Yeah, that's it. Okay, cool. So that's how the arms sit. Well, I might as well throw these guys up from on this side as well. All right. Cool. Those little fellas go like that, and then this little fella sits there. Where is it? Here it is. And then this is the last arm here, and then he hangs out like that. Cool. Yeah, that's the stuff right there. And then this little friend sits all up in here like this. Okay, good. Good, good, good. So let's get some Niogel on these motherfuckers. Loop it up. Great. Alright, Niogel 767A. The thickest gel in all the land. Ah, shit, I should have cleaned this first. I'm not going to put it directly on the base plates anymore. I'm just going to put it on the arms. I realized putting it on the base plate, there ends up being more of it on there for no real reason. So I'm going to start just putting it on the arms. So this is me doing that. This stuff is weird, man. It's so tacky and sticky, it's crazy. God damn. And it's so hard to squeeze out of the fucking tube, as you just saw. Get some on the little mating surface between the arms, and that should do it. You don't need a lot of it, just a little thin layer. Once you put the arm on, it's going to squash the shit out of it. So yeah, you don't need to lay it on there thick or anything. All right, arm number 2. Just wiping it off camera a little bit. Just the tip, just for a little bit. Okay. Put more here. Alright. Put a little on the tip. That's what she said. Okay, do the bottom here. All right. And halfway there. Yeah. Okay. On the top. And a little bit on the tip. Jesus. Why? Why would they make the nozzle on the thing so small? You know what I mean? Give me a big nozzle next time, fuckers. Anybody else got a big nozzle? Alright. One more. And then I'm going to put this X plate on, and then I am going to wrap it up. I'm going to wrap it up. Because we're now over 3 hours, and that's a bit much. What I've noticed is that when I go more than 3 hours on these streams, it really fucks my voice up. 3 hours seems to be the limit for doing 4 of these streams a week in terms of what my voice can handle. Which it's interesting, like that's my voice is actually something that I need to pay attention to, because like the times that my voice has gone all the way to hell, it's like those streams are hard to watch. I mean, it's hard for me to do. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure that they're hard to watch. All right, cool. So we are niogeled the fuck up in here. I have to wash my hands. Freelager says, what does that help with? Vibrations. This is vibration damping gel. So the some of the high frequency vibrations will be managed by the fact that this gel is in between the arms and the base plate and the X plate here. Which is pretty fucking cool, man. It's really cool that that Chris Rosser figured this out. So now I'm going to throw these screws back in there, and we will call it a night. I'm glad that I didn't just get this nio gel all over this work mat. That's kind of nice. I just had this split second of like, oh, did I get it all over? Glad to report that I didn't. And I'm gonna go to the Weeha tools because they're faster. Zip all 4 of these guys in here. All right. There we go. Cool. And I might as well crank them down with the MIP drivers. I won't need to remove these arm screws. I've definitely noticed with the gel that when I crank these arm bolts down, like I get them tight and then I really crank on them here, and when I really crank on them, like I can almost feel the gel compressing, so I know it's in there doing something, which is kind of slick. I'm gonna leave these I'm actually gonna remove these outer arm bolts, just so that they're out of the way for when I'm fitting this stack on Sunday. So one of the reasons I crank those inner arm bolts is so that they'll hold these arms nice and solid. I won't have like wiggly arms or any bullshit like that. And I guess I might as well wipe down some of this extra Nio gel while I have good access to it. So I'll just kind of come in here with my little microfiber and just wipe some of the extra out. It's kind of squishing out a little bit. Since it's all tacky and sticky, it's gonna attract dirt and grime and shit. So I just want to wipe as much of it off as I possibly can. Alright. That's looking pretty good. Yeah. Alright, well, look at that huge mess that we made, but we did all the things, we did everything as cleanly and as properly as we can. Sunday, we will take this, put it in there. It'll go in there roughly like this. I gotta figure out what length hardware I need to mount this guy. It will not need to be as long as the hardware that I was using for the 20x20 stack. So yeah, it'll probably mount up something like that. And yeah, looks like we'll have plenty of room. Good, good, good. Not bad, man. Not bad at all. Throw the camera cage on, and we'll be all set to go. Throw these Aerolites on, of course. Be all set. I'm actually curious, did I make... Oh, that's a little short. I may need to extend this one wire on this guy a little bit. We'll see. We'll see where that sits. And the Aerolite, yeah, we got enough. We got enough. This one's nice and long. That one's all the way back there. Okay, yeah, we're good. I was worried that I cut this this motor wire a little too short, but I think we'll be okay. I do think that I'm going to need to extend this one wire here, though, which is not the end of the world. But we will figure that out on the next one. This was relatively painless. Can't really complain about this build so far. And now I've got an ESC, a flight controller, and a set of motors ready to go for a ultimate thrasher, basher, destroyer ripsqueak on some of my favorite propellers, which are the T-Motor 3140s. So that should be interesting. I'm actually really excited to get that ripsqueak built. I think we weighed everything that we needed to weigh, Frank. We found that the 20x20 stack is 4 to 6 grams heavier than an AIO, and these 1804s basically weigh exactly the same as the Aerolite 2004s. So yeah, I don't really think there's anything else to weigh. This rig with a 4S 850 is about 270 to 280 grams. So that'll come down to like 265, 275 because of the couple of grams we're saving on the flight controller and ESC combo. Other than that, yeah, the weight ain't gonna change, which is good. I don't want this rig to be any lighter. If anything, I want this rig to be heavier. Brandon's Baked Beans says, have you found the NIO gel is noticeable given that you don't tune with black box analysis typically? I did. The first rig that I put the NIO gel on, which was this Cinesplore that you actually looked at the black box logs from to help me figure out that the gyro is shit in the bed. When I NIO gelled this, it definitely got better. So yeah, it definitely does something for sure. My philosophy on the NIO gel is basically that it is easy to put, like, there's no reason to not use it. It has never made anything worse that I've seen. It's cheap, it's easy. So like, fuck it. You know, every single time I ever take an arm off again, I'm gonna put NIO gel on. Because there's, you know, even if it does nothing, it doesn't do anything bad. So it's like, okay. Freeloader says, would a non-permanent advised gel have a similar effect? I don't know what an advised gel is. Yeah, I don't know. What I can say is, this NIO Gel 767A is specifically designed to do what it's doing here. This material has been specifically developed to damp vibrations. So, like, if you used Vaseline instead of this, I can't imagine that it would work as well, right? Because Vaseline wasn't specifically designed to do exactly this task. So hopefully that answers your question. I'm gonna go relax. Actually, I'm gonna go shower and get ready for tomorrow. Big day tomorrow. Yoga studio in the morning for my work trade. And then I'm going straight up to Maggie's, and we're going to a Halloween party, which is going to be fun, because I'll get to meet a bunch of her friends for the first time. And that's going to be awesome, because, yeah, she's a super amazing person, so I'm sure her friends are super rad. Thanks for hanging out, boys and girls. Freelojo says adhesive gel. Oh, adhesive gel, okay. Yeah, my thinking stands. Metal Dirtskin says, I wonder if that stuff would work on sway bar bushings and the like instead of that awful marine grease they use. I don't know. This stuff is kind of sticky. I don't think I would want this on sway bar bushings. I think it would be too sticky for that. Brandon's Baked Beans 767A is exactly what I have. I use it for arcade sticks and flight sim joysticks as well. That's pretty cool. You can revive old dry sticky sticks on old radios with that stuff too. That's crazy. License to Drive says laters. Thanks for hanging out, boys. Here's some more flying from the stadium, and I'll see you guys on Sunday at 3 o'clock. Just get this queued up for you here. There it is. Thanks for hanging, fuckers. Love every single one of you. CiottiFPV.com has a million ways you can support me if you want to see me keep doing these live streams. Patreon helps me out the most, but there's a bunch of other ways on there that you can support your favorite gangly son of a bitch. Thanks for hanging. See you Sunday at 3. Later.